Welcome to FNF Victory Road Draft League Season 2 Top 10 Most Hype Battles of the Season. This time we are looking at playoffs. We did the top 10 hypest battles of the regular season, so be sure to check that one out if you haven't seen it already. There were so many top hype battles in that season. But we're moving on to playoffs, which had its fair share of hype battles. Although there were less battles in the playoffs, there were a higher percentage, I'd say, of hype battles. Not only did the playoffs themselves lend themselves to more hype battles due to the situation, like it was either win or lose and get knocked out, but it was also just the best players putting their best efforts against each other, and it was really fun. So let's take a look at these playoff matches and see what we got. So coming in 10th place is the battle between Detroit Deinos and Moon Drinkers. That is Startoad's team and Edgar's team. This was their losers finals match 1 battle, and we'll take a look at that battle now. So in this battle, it was quite a close one. Garchomp being a very valuable Pokemon for Edgar, being taken out by Mamoswine in one hit with that priority Ice Shard, really put the momentum in Startoad's favor. Cofagrigus then setting up a Trick Room definitely turned the tides a little bit, as Cofagrigus was able to do quite a bit of damage, but Pangoro, with that boosting and 2 Will-O-Wisps missing, made Pangoro a big threat, taking out many of Edgar's Pokemon, including Cofagrigus and Braviary, who went down after the Brave Bird. And then finally, Faye the Mienshao being able to perhaps clinch it out with Knockoff, but not quite due to Doublade's big bulk with Eviolite. Knockoff just doing 29% versus Doublade, and Doublade was able to take it out. It was down to the wire, and it was a really close one between two great players. So that took the number 10 slot in the most hype battles of playoffs, and we'll go on to look at number 9. So number 9 was the match between Rio Grande Rapidash and Verocious Victini. This was losers round 1, match number 2. And we have it here. So in this matchup between Ember and Quest, the name of the game was pretty much Milotic versus Tapu Bulu. Milotic being able to wall everything except Tapu Bulu, and then Tapu Bulu hitting extremely hard versus almost everything except Dragalge, pretty much. Tapu Bulu's grassy terrain being able to boost the power of its Wood Hammer, and I believe it was Choice Bandit as well. It just hit everything extremely hard, even if it resisted it. For example, Tornadus Therian going down to Tapu Bulu's Wood Hammer in one shot, and that happened multiple times in the set. Milotic, of course, being chased out by Tapu Bulu many times as well. So Milotic was able to pretty much wall every single physical attack that Quest could throw at it. And because Sigilyph went down, the only hope that Quest had versus Milotic was pretty much Tapu Bulu maybe trying to get some chip damage on Milotic. Even the Z move from Infernape, the Z close combat, was not able to take down Milotic, as Milotic continued recovering in Quest's face. However, the Tapu Bulu Wood Hammers were hitting extremely hard, and at one point Ember sent in Milotic to Tapu Bulu, and that was a really surprising point in the match. Tapu Bulu, I believe, took down Tornadus Therian in one shot with Wood Hammer, and after that, Ember sent in his most valuable Pokemon to Tapu Bulu to die to a Wood Hammer, which was extremely surprising to me. I was like, what are you thinking, Ember? What are you thinking? But the recoil from that Wood Hammer proved to be very useful to Ember, as he was able to use that to his advantage because Tapu Bulu is rather bulky. He managed to take down Tapu Bulu later on with the Crocodile setting up to sweep. So we actually see that moment here. Woodhammer taking down Milotic, Kuryu, the top Wooloo, being brought to 22%, and then Liability, the Crocodile, setting up to sweep. It couldn't sweep, however, because Quest brought in Mach Punch Infernape, and it was Choice Scarfed. Crocodile was Choice Scarfed. But then Mega Diancie came in to pick up the pieces, set up a sweep versus Kuryu, and the grassy terrain that Kuryu set up actually ruined Dumbo by preventing Earthquake from killing Mega Diancie. Mega Diancie hanging on with 1 HP as it led the way for Crocodile to sweep, and then Crocodile ended up finishing off Empoleon and winning the match for Ember. A really, really hype match as it was down to the wire, and that grassy terrain both benefited and was a liability to Quest at some point, making Earthquakes weaker when he really needed them to be stronger. So it was really hype once Milotic went down, and it was like, oh my gosh, how is Ember going to clinch this? But he did manage to clinch it, and it was a really interesting and good performance by both of them. So we move on to the number 8 most hyped battle, and that is going to be the Moon Drinkers versus Sun and Friendly. That is Edgar versus Noelle in the winners final match number 2. So in this match, Machamp looked threatening, but right off the bat, Accident the Cough Egregious proved to be a very valuable asset to Edgar, firing off powerful Shadow Balls after a nasty plot and not getting that sleep from Venusaur, weakening 3 of the key Pokemon on Noelle's team, which allowed Edgar to kind of pick up the pieces easier later on. After that, of course, Garchomp was ripping through the team with Outrage, and Sandstorm was only up for one last time as Amelie, the Excadrill, tried its best to sweep through the team, but Excelgor managed to scare it out. The threat of a Choice Scarf in Final Gambit was too much for Amelie. Amelie still trying to take advantage of that Sandstorm and got that flinch off of Florges. Florges showing that it wasn't passive this time with Hidden Power, so Amelie couldn't set up for free, and that led to Amelie having to switch out. No more Sandstorm, no more speed. The final gambit of Noelle was getting that agility up with Arcanine, but it could not take down the full HP Houndoom, who managed to take down both Arcanine and Excadrill, and Edgar managed to win this battle, which is a very impressive performance. And it was really hyped because it caused the set to go to a Game 3, and Game 1 was also really hype as well. So a really great battle by Edgar. And so we move on to the next battle, number 7, which is Sun and Friendly versus Detroit Deinos. This is the Grand Finals match number 2, the absolute last battle of the league itself. And in this one, the context is that right before, the match was won by Sun and Friendly by a mere +1. And so it was already really tense. Salamence leading with Hydro Pump was really good. Special Salamence, which was unexpected. And Arcanine on Balloon. Balloon was really the name of the game of this match. Arcanine on Balloon managed to take out Mamoswine, who couldn't take out Gigalith, but Gigalith couldn't take out Mamoswine with the superpower. So there was so much almost killing going on there. Klefki managed to come in on Araquanid and set up full hazards. Araquanid then fell asleep, and Crobat had to defog. That was Fire Pup's chance to go for a powerful Flare Blitz in the sun. Of course, Hugh the Salamence with its special set, able to take out Gigalith. Amelie was ripped and ready to go in the Sandstorm, taking out Araquanid after missing with the Rock Slide. If Araquanid woke up, it could have been over. Finally, Startoad hung on with his nice synergy of Heatran and Doublade versus Arcanine. Heatran being able to take fire attacks, Doublade being able to take close combat. Heatran floating on a balloon too. They managed together to take out Arcanine, and Doublade almost took down Amelie but couldn't. Heatran on a balloon was the last Pokemon standing, and it took 3 Pokemon to take out Heatran on a balloon. Torkoal to set up the sun for... I didn't display it. I'll display it now. It was a pretty cool battle. So in the end, it took 3 Pokemon to take out Heatran on the balloon. Torkoal to set up the sun so that Venusaur could outspeed Heat ran and popped the balloon with Giga Drain, and then finally in the end, Amelie was able to take out Heat ran with an Earthquake. Really hype battle, as you see here. Sorry, I forgot to show it because it's kind of difficult switching between PowerPoint and the window and changing everything in OBS, but really intense. That yawn from Torkoal really helped by putting Araquanid to sleep, which was one of the main problems for Sun and Friendly in this battle. So lots of back and forth happening in the beginning. Amelie really going and with the potential to tear the team apart, but that Heat ran on the balloon was really what made this match so close. Otherwise, it would not have been so close, and it probably would have been a 4-0, but Balloon Heat ran, Balloon Arcanine both made this match extremely close, taking a lot to pop that balloon and then finally win it in the end for Sun and Friendly. So, really close match. Amelie hanging on by a thread there. And we go on to the next battle. So the next battle is the number 6 battle. And this is Rio Grande Rapidash versus Northern Necrozmas. This is their losers quarterfinals match number 1. That is Ember versus Morgana. And in this battle, there was a lot of back and forth. It started off right off the bat with Morgana doing really well, baiting out Tornadus Therian to take it out with the Continental Crush from Virizion. Trick Room was a decent asset to Ember, although it didn't last long in the beginning with Musharna. And then Breloom was able to take out Conkeldurr with the combination of Sleep and its really powerful Bullet Seeds. Trick Room did allow, however, Lantern to take out Garchomp, and then Lantern did a number on Primarina, who was weakened. Breloom took out Primarina. Gengar retaliated by taking out Breloom, and then finally Exploud did big damage to Gengar. Zeraora went down, lots of back and forth. The final Pokemon to come out was Liability, the Crocodile, and Zeraora took that chance with the damage roll. Both of them scarfed. That close combat had like a 40-something% chance to kill, I think 50-something% not to kill, and it was really close either way. The damage roll ended up favoring Crocodile, and Crocodile took down Zeraora. What a match. It was so close, and Ember managed to clinch it with Crocodile. Really interesting battle there, and that whole set was interesting, as we'll see. So definitely a really hype match. We move on to the number 5 Hypest match, and that is Sun and Friendly versus Northern Necrozmas. That's Noelle versus Morgana's team. And in this one, Sun and Friendly had brought 3 archetypes, Trick Room, Sun, and Sand. Kind of a hodgepodge, but Machamp was able to do big damage in the beginning with Trick Room, being able to take out both Mega Garchomp and Mantine before retreating away. Dunban, the Conkeldurr, of course, showed its really intense attack power by taking out Venusaur in one shot. Mesprit scared it away and put Trick Room into effect, which allowed Everlast to do some big damage. Everlast, using its Chople Berry to survive the Drain Punch from Conkeldurr, took it out with an explosion, and then one final Predict into Mesprit to take the close combat, set up Trick Room, and then go for the final sweep with Machamp. Zeraora had a Scarf, so it would have outsped Excadrill in the Sandstorm, so it was a really intense and hype match. Both of the Pokemon on Sun and Friendly barely hanging on with not much HP, so definitely a really intense match, and we will go on to the next match now. So the next match, number 4, is Moondrinkers versus Patch 3.0 Ivysaurs. This is winners semifinals, match number 3. That's Edgar versus Noob Scrub. So, taking a look at this match, first the context. The score was 1-1 between Noob Scrub and Edgar. And this was the final battle between the 2nd seed and the 3rd place seed, both of them doing extremely well in the regular season and so far doing well in the playoffs. In previous matches, Celesteela was really hard for Edgar to take down, so Celesteela was really the Pokemon to try and eliminate in this one. And Garchomp was trying its best to take it down in the beginning, but Celesteela was living rather comfortably with those Leech Seeds. Garchomp hung on to 4%, and Edgar decided, you know what, I need Garchomp for later, I'm going to save it, and that was a really good decision. Lazuli was also good in providing Wish support to the team. So Mega Houndoom was able to take out its counter, which was the best turtle, the Turtonator. And Mega Houndoom was really Edgar's best tool versus Celesteela. It really needed to stay alive to take out Celesteela. Of course, one of the most hype parts of this match was exited the Cough-egregious, mean-looking Golbat, and then PP stalling it. As we'll see here, both of the Pokemon staying in and without an easy way to kill each other. They were pretty much PP stalling, and it was actually pretty interesting because we were looking at the PP and rest and how rest affected PP and who would run out of PP first. Golbat, of course, was a really valuable asset to Noob Scrub in this battle because Edgar had used full hazards before, so Golbat being able to defog those hazards was not good for Edgar. So this was a PP stall situation, and as you can see, it lasted pretty long. Many turns. Then eventually Houndoom did come out to attack the best bat, Golbat, and Edgar brought in Cough-egregious and tried to trap Golbat again, which Noob Scrub commented on. But after that, the match did speed up. Maurice was able to set up Sun and take down Hippowdon, ensuring the Sun would stay up. Noob Scrub's best bet was to stall out the Sun and try to predict those hidden powers and those Fire Blasts with Quagsire and Golbat. He did stall out the Sun, but Golbat took down Mega Houndoom. At this point, it was unclear how Edgar was going to take out Celesteela because it was such a defensive Titan and it still had over half of its HP left. So it was really intense, but Sun Eater, the Excelgor, managed to yawn Celesteela, and Celesteela, instead of switching out, stayed in with that 1.5 defense boost. Lazuli went for the Wish, and Garchomp, who was previously at 4%, managed to go to 50%. Swords Dance up, go for the Fire Fangs to attack the sleeping Celesteela. It managed to attack and flinch Celesteela, who then was in trouble. After that, Garchomp had an easy time sweeping the rest of the team with Earthquakes, and then finally took out Celesteela with one final Fire Fang, and that was the end of that match. It was such an intense match, going from defense to offense, offense to defense really quickly, and just an interesting measure of both of those players' adaptability. A little bit of RNG, a little PP stall, a little bit of everything. So it was a very fun match to witness, and a really intense third match between two of the best trainers that proved themselves in this season. So we move on to the next battle, which is number 3. And this battle was Sun and Friendly versus Detroit Deinos, Grand Finals match number 1. And that is Noel versus Startoad. Oops, that is not the screen I meant to show. Okay. So, in this match, it was really interesting. Machamp was scary off the bat. It was holding a Focus Sash. We didn't see that in the battle. But Crobat did a good job. Gigalith coming in on Crobat. Pangoro, however, was a big threat with a Choice Band knockoff, able to take out Latias. That Sand from Gigalith able to help Amelie, but Araquanid was a big problem, especially because it had boosted its defense with Iron Defense. Keyheart also setting up some hazards, but Magneton came in to take advantage of that, setting up a substitute, being able to take out Gigalith, being able to damage Amelie to the point where it took itself out, and then all that was left was Togedemaru on a balloon, back against the wall versus 4 very strong Pokemon, but because of the hazards and Togedemaru's decent attacking prowess and nice stab combination, it was able to take out all 4 Pokemon by itself. You never expect an electric rodent Pokemon to do so well, but it managed to really do well in playoffs and turn a 4-1 situation into a 1-0 situation, and win the first battle of Grand Finals all by itself at the end. So really intense set and really hype set, seeing Togedemaru do that. So we move on to the next battle. The number 2 slot for most hype is the match between Detroit Deinos and Pitiful Punching Bags. That's Startoad versus Quasimodo. And for the context, in the previous match, Quasimodo ended up using Mega Alakazam, Magnet Pull, trapping Magneton and boosting up and then wrecking through the team. So Magneton had a hard time. Right off the bat, Quasimodo went for big boosts with Como-O, but was scared out by Mamoswine. Then Salamence was encored into Substitute, but the Supersonic Sky Strike managed to take down Moltres. As Salamence was behind the Substitute, Barbaracle set up 2 Shell Smashes and was looking extremely scary, but went down to 1% due to the Earthquake from Salamence. It managed to take out Doublade as well, but Magneton, this time with Sturdy, was able to hang on and take it out. Gardevoir was able to take out Wobbuffet with a critical hit, otherwise it would have gone down. Took out Greninja as well, and then the final 2 Pokemon, Mega Alakazam and Como-O. Mega Alakazam looking really strong, but that Sticky Web managed to reduce both of their speed, and then Magneton came in and swept at 1% with Flash Cannon thanks to its Choice Scarf and the Sticky Web. What an intense battle, and it was... Startoad saw his life flash before his eyes multiple times, with Como-O setting up these Clangorous Soul Blaze and Barbaracle setting up the Shell Smash twice. It was such an intense battle. But Magneton managed to clinch it after being such a liability in the first match with Magnet Pull. Sturdy really came through, and it was able to live with 1% and bring it home. So the first most hype match in the playoffs is coming up, and that number 1 slot goes to Northern Necrozmas versus Rio Grande Rapidash. This is Morgana versus Emberhoof. This was losers quarterfinals match number 2, and I couldn't think of a more hype, closer match than this one. This one was really interesting. Crocodile at the end of the first match managed to clinch this one for Ember, and then so that was the context behind this one. And then Lantern was a good counter to Jet Setter, the Zeraora, toxicking it and taking it down, but Morgana decided, I'm going to save Zeraora, and that was the decision that saved the game for him. Of course, Trick Room was also valuable for Ember, but Necrozma was able to defeat Musharna and stall out some of those Trick Room turns. X-Bell did take advantage of Trick Room by using Boom Burst on Necrozma and then also taking out Garchomp with it. Once again, Breloom was able to take out Dunban, but Gengar was able to take out Breloom. Liability being able to take out Gengar, and the score was 2-2. Jet Setter went for the close combat though, was locked into it, and then Toxic brought it down to 1%. Majin Buu was ready to take a close combat, but he switched to Primarina, which was able to take that move from Tornadus Therian, and then came in to reset Jet Setter at 1% and poisoned, was able to take out Tornadus Therian with the Plasma Fists and won that match by the skin of his teeth. I don't think there's any way it could have gotten closer than a 1% poisoned Pokemon. And he ended up winning the set. This was a vital game for him because Ember had won one of the matches before. So this whole set was extremely hype, and this game especially. So this match between Morgana and Ember definitely took the cake for the number 1 hype, most hype match in the playoffs, which was filled with hype matches. So thank you very much for tuning in to this top 10 hypest matches of playoffs. It was really fun looking over the matches because they were just so interesting and so close. So many really close and skilled matches. Definitely a step up from Season 1, I think, and I'm looking forward to Season 3 to see how people do and how hype these matches get. I don't know if it's even possible to get more hype than 1% and Poison, but we'll see. So stay tuned for some final videos for the Draft League. We still have one more team analysis video coming up. And thank you once again, everybody who participated. And I'll see you in the next video. This is Noel from Sun and Friendly, and see you then.